Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Andrew, and a brief introduction to my company, Addteq. We are software release management specialists. In addition to that, we're also Atlassian experts and partners. Um, so we provide tailored software release management solutions around Atlassian tools to our customers. And that's pretty much AdTech in a nutshell. So today, what we want to do is we want to talk a little bit about the latest addition to Atlassian suite of tools, JIRA Service Desk. Um, now, when talking about JIRA Service Desk, uh, we have to first cover exactly what JIRA is. And if you're not familiar with JIRA, JIRA is Atlassian's flagship issue tracking tool. And I'll assume many of you have heard of JIRA or probably even have used JIRA or are using JIRA in your organization. But JIRA comes with inbuilt features and capabilities for managing and tracking issues. So it made a lot of sense to use JIRA as a platform for Atlassian in developing a service desk application. So what JIRA Service Desk is, it's JIRA, but then Atlassian has layered four components on top of JIRA to optimize it as a service desk application. And these four components are the customer portal, customizable queues, SLAs, and reports, metrics, and analytics. So let's quickly dive into these four categories. What I'll do is I'm going to briefly explain JIRA Service Desk in these four categories. And then once I'm done, I will introduce a scenario around JIRA Service Desk. And we would have my colleague Anoop, who is our JIRA Service Desk guru, configure JIRA Service Desk around that scenario that I build out. And then with you guys watching, you'll be able to get an idea of exactly how JIRA Service Desk can be customized to suit your liking and to match your specific business process. So let's go ahead and get started. Customer portal. So like I said, if you're familiar with JIRA, you're probably familiar with this traditional issue creation screen. Now this is a bit dated create issue screen for JIRA, but you can see there it's very similar to the latest JIRA issue creation screen. It has a number of different fields, and all of these fields may or may not be absolutely necessary when you're trying to use JIRA as simply as a service or a help desk scenario. Uh, what Atlassian has done is they've done away with all of the fields and areas to fill out when creating an issue and has simplified the interface for customers so that they can see exactly where they need to click and they can have a lot more confidence in filling out an issue creation or a request form when they're filing a help desk request. So we're going to show you exactly how this customer portal can be configured. But one of the main points I want to highlight with the customer portal is that the idea here is to use a natural language. You want to use a language that your customer understands, and that way you would limit the amount of mistakes and you would also increase the confidence of your customer when they're filing an issue that they're filling out the form correctly and that there's no gap or discrepancy between what they're trying to request and the issue that they're creating. Another good addition to the customer portal that Atlassian has included is an integration with their tool Atlassian Confluence. Now, if you haven't heard of Confluence before, Confluence is simply Atlassian's document or wiki system. On Confluence, you would store your how-to articles, your tutorials, you would store any other documents that you wish. And the idea is you would link your Confluence knowledge base space up to your service desk. And as a user is filing an issue or creating an issue, if there already is an article or a tutorial or how to or whatever troubleshooting guide on your knowledge base, then those articles would appear on this right hand side of the screen. And how it would do that, it would pick up on the keywords that the customer is typing in when we're filing an issue, and then bring what it feels is the relevant articles for that particular request in the right hand side here. And another cool feature, if you look all the way on the right hand side there, you'll see a little thumbs up, kind of like the Facebook like button. So as customers come across articles that help them solve whatever problem or issue that they had, they're able to like an article, and then that article would then rise to the top, or customers would be able to then see uh, that this article apparently had helped so many other customers or clients in the past, and that would help them in uh, in gaining the information right away to resolve their issue. And so the real value here comes in by it turns your service desk now into kind of a self-service desk. And it's always nice to have an issue resolved before it's even created, by having this knowledge base integration in place. That way, your customers are happy, they get the resolution right away, and your service guys never really have to do anything because the solution is there. And this would also help in limiting the amount of repeat uh, solutions and time spent by your service guys, because whenever there's a frequently asked question or anything like that, they can create an article, and then your customers can pick up that article right away and resolve their issue. So next we'll talk about the customizable queues. And the customizable queues is actually personally one of my favorite uh, features of JIRA Service Desk, uh, because the queues is really what allows you to organize the issues that come into your system, and triage them automatically. So for instance, obviously you would want more critical or blocker issues uh, to be handled immediately or as urgently as possible. And so you can set up the queues to determine what would be a blocker or a critical issue. And that way, as issues are coming in, the issues that have the most priority would your developers would pick that up first and then work their way down. And now here, this screen, I'm just showing here another aspect to the queues, which is a time metric. So further in customizing the queues, you can add a goal or a time target for your service guys to meet when dealing with certain issues. So for instance, a priority issue, a critical priority issue would obviously have maybe a faster goal or time target for resolving, because you would want the critical issues resolved as soon as possible. Another cool feature in Jira Service Desk is the SLA, and this is tightly related to the queues that I mentioned earlier. When we're talking about that time or that target set for your service guys to meet when resolving or responding to issues. So if we think of SLAs as having three main areas: time to first response, time to resolution, and then time waiting. Uh, so you can configure these three aspects of SLAs into your queues. So that way, as issues are coming in, uh, your developers are able to see, kind of like a street light that tells you, red, green, yellow. They're able to see, okay, which issues right away need the immediate attention, which issues maybe you have a little bit more flexible schedule to work with, and then which issues you have lots of time to work with. And so your developers are able to easily see right away uh, what issues need the attention the most, and pick up those tickets before picking up other tickets that follow behind. And then this is just another area where the SLA is also again presented to your service guys. This is now in the actual issue. So even as a service a service guy is working on an issue, in the right hand side, they're able to still view that SLA. So they never actually lose sight of that as they're working along the issues. And so here now we have the reports, and reports are also another big component of JIRA Service Desk. We all need reports and metrics in order to understand the performance of your system and the performance of your team. Uh, Another good thing that the reports also provide, depending on how you set it up, is it can provide really good insight into how your service or your product is performing. For instance, perhaps you would want to generate a report that allows you to see where are the pain areas with whatever product or service that you've had your support desk around. And a report would generate that data for you in a nice, clean, meaningful way for you to be able to make any kind of business decisions that you want to make resulting of that. So that those are the main components of Jira Service Desk. Um, let's go ahead and dive into the actual users of Jira Service Desk. Who are using Jira? Who is using Jira? And what this is going to also do is this is also going to provide a good backdrop for us in creating our scenario. So when we create our scenario, we're going to be focusing on these three users: the customer, the service guy, and the managers. Um, the customers are going to be the individuals that are actually using the customer portal. They're the ones filing their requests, and they're going to be the ones following up to see whether or not the request is pending or completed. Um, so if you have Jira Service Desk implemented in a customer-facing scenario, these would be obviously your customers that are filing requests with whatever product or service that they're using. If you have Jira Service Desk implemented internally, facing inside your organization, these would be the individuals that are filing requests to the IT department to get whatever issue or task that they wish the IT department to resolve get fixed. Your service guys, these are the guys actually now burning through the issues. They're the ones updating and logging information. And they're also the ones viewing the queues and working against the SLAs. They're the ones picking up the issues and resolving them. And then lastly, you have your managers. And your managers, these can also be your service guys as well. Typically, these may be the service lead or an admin on the team. And they're the ones with administrative rights to Jira Service Desk. They're the ones that are going to actually be configuring the system. They're the ones that are actually going to be defining what the SLAs are. And then also, they're the ones that are going to be paying close attention to the reports. They're the ones that are going to want to understand the performance of the team, and they're going to want to understand exactly how the product or the service is performing as well. So now that we've explained Jira Service Desk and we've explained the users of Jira Service Desk, we want to build out now a real life Jira Service Desk scenario. And for this, I'm going to use a product that Addteq provides to its Atlassian customers. Um, just keep in mind that every detail of the story or the scenario that I build out isn't going to be identical to our actual product, our actual service. But the whole purpose really is to just serve as an example, as a way for you to kind of see how you would configure Service Desk in whatever scenario you wish to have it in. So don't take this as us trying to show you exactly how to build a code factory or the service that we have, but think of it as it applies to your specific business process, and think of it as how think of the things that we show you. Think of them how you would apply them to your specific business. So the name of our service or product here is Code Factory. And I'm just going to briefly describe what Code Factory is. And then we're going to go ahead and dive into how we would configure a JIRA Service Desk around this Code Factory solution. So Code Factory is a solution for Atlassian customers. It is a development platform as a service. So as I mentioned before, we provide tailored release management solutions to our Atlassian customers. And that product that we use to do that is Code Factory. And Code Factory is made of mainly a few different parts. It's made of obviously first the Atlassian tools that our client chooses to have within their development environment. They have these tools, and then they have whatever add-ons or additional plugins that they wish to have in their system. And then they have any other third-party build, release, and deployment tools that they want in their system as well. So once we have all the tools that they wish to have configured in their environment, we package all of them together, and then we add a few services on top. Custom workflows, we automate the release cycle, we automate the deployments, we integrate the system with anything outside of the system, any third-party tool. If there are if there was a previous tool that our client was using, and they don't want to lose that data, we migrate that legacy data over, and then at the end we manage and host the entire system on our servers. So this is a good scenario to use in building a service desk application, because in providing such a service, such a product like this, you have many different request types coming in. You have many different clients that have that are using the tool in different capacities. And so this is a good example for us to use now when we're going to go ahead and build a JIRA Service Desk. So here's another spin onto our Code Factory, at least the support side of our Code Factory. We have three different customer support tiers. We have a silver tier, a gold tier, and a platinum tier. So for our silver support package customers, these are the SLAs associated with that. And this is our baseline service package. So if you're looking here, you can see that we have an SLA for responding to critical issues of 6 hours. And then we have an SLA of responding to non-critical issues of 24 hours. And then when it comes to resolving issues, critical issues we wish to resolve within 24 hours, and non-critical issues within 96 hours. And then we have a coverage zone of between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. So now the SLAs kind of switch, they kind of increase or become more attractive for our gold support package customers. The resolution times and the response times are sped up a little bit. So you can see here for responding, there's a 4-hour max response time for critical issues. And then for resolving critical issues, there's a 16-hour max resolution time. And then at the bottom there, you can also see that we've expanded the coverage from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We've expanded that to 10 p.m. And then our best and most attractive package is the Platinum support, which has our best resolution times, our fastest response times, 2 hours for critical and 8 hours for resolving critical issues. So I wanted to go over these SLAs really quickly with you, because these are the parameters that we're going to use now when we're setting up those SLAs and those queues in the JIRA Service Desk scenario that we build out. So just to recap, the Code Factory Service Desk. Code Factory is a external facing solution. So one of the first requirements we're going to want in building out a service desk is external user access to the customer portal. We are constantly going to be adding clients and customers to the system. And so it may not be feasible or scalable for us to have a JIRA license or assign a JIRA login to each and every one of our clients, to each and every one of our customers. And this may be the case as well for you if perhaps you have a core development team of, say, 20 developers or maybe 10 developers in your organization that are really using JIRA, but yet you have thousands or hundreds of customers that you wish to be able to access the system to file issues. And so one of the main requirements we have here there is external access to the customer portal. The second requirement we have here is to detect the customer and the associated package tier. So as I mentioned before, we have those three different support tiers. And so as our customers are filing issues, we want JIRA Service Desk to now understand which support package tier that customer falls under, and then triage and prioritize their issues against the SLAs that match up with that support tier. So that's another thing we want our service desk to be able to handle automatically. And then the third point, just piggyback on what I was just saying before, triage according to the queues and SLAs automatically. And then lastly, we have the knowledge base. So what we also want to do is limit our time wasted resolving the same issues over and over and over. So if we have clients that are asking the same questions over and over, we would want to integrate a knowledge base to handle those frequently asked questions. And we're going to show you exactly how you would link up a knowledge base or your Confluence up to your service desk um, so that you can build out this knowledge base for your customers. So that's the general overview of Code Factory and the service desk scenario that we want to build out. So at this time, I'm going to hand the control over to our service desk guru, Anoop, who is going to now actually show you under the hood of JIRA Service Desk exactly where to click, exactly what to do in configuring JIRA Service Desk to match this scenario. So I'll just unmute Anoop here. Hi, Anoop, are you there?
Yep. So am I audible?
Yes, we do hear you. I'm going to go ahead and change my presentation privileges over to you so that you can go ahead and show us exactly how to configure your service desk.
Yeah, sure.
All right,
Everyone,
so
this is Anu.
you should have the controls now.
Yeah. So my screen is visible, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yep.
Okay. So before I start with the demonstration, let us quickly go through the points which I'm going to cover in my demonstration. So the very first thing which we'll cover is the first requirement which Andrew has stated, that if at all JIRA Service Desk can be used as an external entity or not. Then we'll see how we can configure the customer portal, which will be followed by the creation of support types and the customer profiles. Then we'll see how easy it is to configure queues and SLAs in JIRA Service Desk. And then we'll see one of the important offering of JIRA Service Desk, wherein we can use JIRA Service Desk as a self-service desk also, using a feature called knowledge base. And finally, we'll see how the reports can be customized and how many varieties of reports are offered by JIRA. So this all will take along with a live example as well. And I hope at the end of the demo, we all will have a good insight to the offering of JIRA Service Desk for us. So let's start with the very first point, which is external accessibility of JIRA Service Desk. So by default, JIRA Service Desk provides internal accessibility. That is, JIRA Service Desk can be made available to only JIRA users within the network. Now, when an external user wishes to raise an issue in your JIRA Service Desk, the external accessibility of JIRA Service Desk becomes a necessity. So as Andrew stated, JIRA Service Desk can be used as an external entity. This means JIRA Service Desk can be integrated to any website so that any external user can raise query or issue through website in JIRA Service Desk. Addteq has developed a plugin to achieve this integration of JIRA Service Desk with website. So let's take an example how we can access JIRA Service Desk from Addteq website by an external user. So whenever an external user comes in to our, as you can see over here, this is our website, and external customer comes in and he wants to raise an issue to us, he can click on this particular button, which is customer support. So once he clicks on this particular button, a pop-up will appear, and as you can see, the interface used for raising an issue in JIRA Service Desk is very similar to that of JIRA Issue Collector. The form which appeared over here in the pane is a customer portal of JIRA, which JIRA Service Desk offers. So let's say a user tries to raise an issue and or a query from Addteq website and arrives at that particular page. And for demo purpose, we have created 4 categories, as you can see on the screen. So which are request services, request software upgrade, buy renew software licenses, and request enhancements. So user will raise the issue by using one of these clickable buttons. So for example, if they want to request any service from us, so they can click on that particular button and a form will appear. So these all, now you can see the form, an issue can be raised by simply filling up this form and submitting. So based on the identified categories and the input information needed from an external user, these clickable buttons and the forms are very much customizable in JIRA Service Desk. So now let's see how we can customize these forms. So for customizing these forms, one needs to have admin access. So let me log in as an admin in JIRA Service Desk, and we'll see how we can customize the customer portal. So I have a JIRA project already got created, which is Addteq support system, and now here you can see one tab called customer portal, and in that you can see over here an entity called request types. So if we talk about request types are nothing but the categories in which any incoming issues can be classified. So for demo purpose, we have taken 4 issue types required for the code factory solution. Now let's, so those 4 request types are work request, upgrade request, purchase software licenses, and enhancement request. So now let's say apart from these 4 issue types, we identify one more issue type, maybe known as fault, under which all the bugs and faults or outages can be reported. So introducing a new issue type in JIRA Service Desk is a very simple 3-step process, and which includes creation of JIRA issue type with the name fault. Then we need to associate this particular issue type with a particular JIRA project, and we need to customize, and finally we need to customize JIRA Service Desk customer portal. So now in order to create a issue type, we need to go to issue types, and there we can create a issue type maybe known as fault, and we can give a particular icon to it. Okay, let me change the icon of this particular button, of this particular issue type. So I have one issue type already got created over here known as fault, and now I need to associate with particular issue type scheme. So for that I need to edit my already existing scheme, and I can simply drag and drop over here to include fault as one of the issue type. So now once I have I'm done with this, I can go back to my JIRA Service Desk project, and in that I can go to the customer portal. So here, if you can see in the drop down, now I have fault issue type as well. So let me just create one more clickable button over there, which will enable an external user to access, to create, to raise a bug or a fault to us. So for that, I can edit the icons. So then for any issue type, we can give a request name which would be more user friendly. So, and I can mention the description as well, which will come under the button, so as to make customer more easy to identify on under which category they have to raise a particular issue. So I'll mention raise bugs. Now I can add which all group has permission to access this. So I have a group created called general. So anyone can come and access this particular issue type. So now let's see. Now let's go back to the website and we can see. Let's see if we can view that particular issue type. So now, if you can see over here, we have one new issue type or the request type got created, which is raise fault. Okay. So now let's talk about support types. Okay, so we are done with the first 2 points. Now let's come to customer profile and support type. So as Andrew mentioned, let's say as a customer you want support services from Addteq, and as shown in the screen, Addteq provides three levels of support, which are silver, gold, and platinum. So customer can opt for any of the support plans. These are very similar to the plans offered by the banks on credit card, and the benefits and charges would vary as per the plan. So here Addteq is offering 3 different support plans, and specific response and resolution time for each of them is different. So that is as Andrew mentioned earlier. But now the question arises that when an issue is raised by a customer, how do we come to know which customer has opted for which plan? So for this, Addteq has developed a solution that requires a new issue type to be created. So that that issue type is required and is called as customer, and that particular issue type needs to have 2 mandatory fields called as domain name and support type. So this will enable the reverse traceability of both of the plan which the customer has opted. So let's take an example over here. So let's take an example over here. So here I have 2 existing customers here with me. So one is LexCorp and one is Daily Planet. LexCorp has opted for platinum support and Daily Planet has opted for silver support. Now, this is the one-time activity when I'm creating a customer profile with the type customer, and I need to mentally fill these 2 fields, support type and domain name. Now, let's take an example wherein I get one more new customer. Maybe say a organization called as Wayne Enterprises comes in, and they opt for code factory solution with Addteq. So what the very first thing I'll do is I'll create a organization profile. So that is called as Wayne Enterprises. In the summary, I can mention the summary. Sorry, in the description, I can mention the description of the organization. In the company name, I need to mention the company name. So that comes out to be Wayne Enterprises. Now in the domain name, I need to mention the domain name which is being used in the or inside the organization. So let's take an example. They are using Wayne Enterprises itself. And now let's take an example that they have opted for gold support plan with us. And for which all components they are choosing Addteq. So for JIRA, maybe for Confluence, we can have build automation and hosting as well. Now let's place a due date for the plan they have opted for. So once this is done, I have a new profile of a customer who has opted for gold support plan. Okay, so this is how we can create a customer profile and a support types. So now let's come to the customization of queues and SLAs. So till now, what we have seen is what we have discussed about JIRA Service Desk is more from user or customer point of view. But how does JIRA Service Desk looks to the engineering team? So in my further section, I will talk about queues and SLAs. So that will be more of from the engineering perspective. So a queue, if you can say, is nothing but it can be described as a bucket where the relevant issues will be stacked. For example, as we saw the different issue types raising different requests, the issues created by this will be collected in the respective queues for these request types. So it is possible to customize the queues pertaining to the request types. So this assures clear distribution of issues to the respective teams, and also this thus assuring the accountability of the issues on either the individual or at team level. So if you can see over here, I have introduced 4 queues which are in comparison with the issue types which we have created. So we have enhancement request, we have work request, we have software licenses, and upgrade request. So each of the queue will hold the tickets of that particular issue type. Again, these can be very much customizable by having a JIRA query language. So here I have mentioned wherein issue types are purchase software licenses, only those tickets shall be accumulated over in this queue. So apart from this queue, I have also created 2 custom queues which are issues to be first responded and issues to be resolved. So here, if you can see over here, in issues to be first responded, list all the issues which are to be responded, which are yet to be acknowledged. And on the right hand side, you can see that it shows the SLA level for each of the individual ticket. So now the very first ticket shows, the first 2 tickets shows that they have reached the first response time SLA, whereas the last 2 tickets they have met the SLAs, and the third one is currently in progress. Again, for these we can customize these queues based on the JQL or the JIRA query language. So here I have chosen support type can be anything between gold, silver, and platinum, and issue type is not customer, because customer issue type only gets created during profile creation of a new customer, and it is going to be a one-time activity. And I have ordered by response time. So here you can see that the response time, which is the least response time, is appearing on the top. So this indicates that an engineer has to work on an urgent basis on the very first issue. Similarly, with issues to be resolved, the column on the right hand side shows the resolution time, and in our example over here, we can clearly see that the very first ticket has breached the SLA, whereas the last ticket has met the SLA, whereas the second and the fourth ticket, they are currently in progress, whereas the third ticket is currently being paused. So we'll see why this is paused right now. That we'll see in the further section. So similar to the previous, we can again customize this particular queue as well, and by using the JQL. We can also customize the columns as well over here. So we can even add more columns. So maybe due date we can add. So it shows a due date over here. And if at all I want to rearrange these columns, I can do that very easily as well. So as you can see over here. So again, this creation of queues are very much customizable and very easy in JIRA Service Desk. So every as we have seen, every queue maps to a request type, and so now previously we have created a request type called as fault. So now let's create a corresponding queue for fault as well. So here I need to create a queue by clicking on new queue, and I'll place the name of the queue. And in the JQL, I'll mention the issue types, all the tickets which has issue types as fault. So it will list me all the tickets which has issue type as fault. And I'll include some more columns in over here as well. So which can be priority, then support type, first response time, and the resolution time. So now here you can see I have a new queue created over here which has 0 tickets as of now. 0 tickets because till now we have no request being raised with the issue type as fault. So we'll see in a future, in a further demonstration, how the ticket will appear over here. Okay, so now in this, the SLAs, you can see we have a tab called SLA in JIRA Service Desk, and even the SLAs are very much customizable over here. So in this demo, we have customized the SLAs based on the support type or the support plans opted by the customer. So here I have created 2 SLAs, which are first response time and the resolution time. So let's see for the first response time. These are the SLAs which I have configured based on support type. So in order to give you a clear picture on this, let me show you this screen. So as you can see on the screen, the SLAs mentioned under the blue block contains the SLAs of silver support, whereas the SLAs mentioned in under the orange box mentions the SLAs of gold support, and the SLAs mentioned under the orange, or sorry, on the violet, under the violet block mentions the platinum support types. So similarly, we can have for resolution time as well here. So these SLAs are well explained by Andrew earlier. So the same requirements we have mapped over here. So I'll just show you how we have mapped these SLAs. So coming on to the, I'll just mention before that, there are some more functionalities which are being provided by the SLA feature. So here, apart from mentioning the SLA hours, I can also mention that SLA will be functional during what calendar day. So here we can create any customizable type of our working hours. So for example, we have taken for the demonstration 9 to 6 on working days. We have another hours, working hours as 9 to 10 on the working days, and we have 24/7 support as well for the platinum. So now for the first response, when the SLA clock will start. So again, in order to mention that thing, I can use these three fields. So my SLA here I have configured that my SLA clock will start when an issue gets created, and it will not pause anytime. This is, please note, this is for the very first response time, or you can say during acknowledgement. And my response time clock will stop only when the tickets enters into waiting for customer status. So it would be like whenever any support engineer has acknowledged the customer. Similarly, for resolution time, we can have my resolution time clock will start during as soon as my issue gets created, and it will pause only when I need an input from end user or a customer. So only at that particular time, that particular point in time, my resolution SLA will pause on. So this is the functionality where my previous ticket, which I've shown earlier, was paused. And my resolution SLA will stop when the ticket enters, or the ticket enters into the resolution state. So now in order to add SLA, I can simply mention, I can simply write the JQL mentioning support type as gold. Sorry for that. And the priority of my issue is critical. So now, for example, this has an SLA of 36 hours, and that would be applicable from 9 to 10 on working days. So if I add that, it comes over here, and this is how my SLAs can be configured. So now let us have an end-to-end demo and see how a new issue type fault, the new support plan gold opted by the newly created customer Wayne Enterprises, are reflecting on JIRA Service Desk for a newly raised issue. So let's have an imaginary customer. So for that, let me just log out of this issue so as to avoid any confusion. So now I have an imaginary customer known as Bruce Wayne, and he wants to raise an issue in JIRA Service Desk through Atlassian website. So he comes to this page and clicks on the customer support button. So in general, JIRA Service Desk scenario, SLA comprises of two parts. The time taken for the first acknowledgement of the issue by the assignee or the assignee team, and the time taken for the resolution of the issue. So let's call them, as we have seen earlier, we can call them as first response time and the resolution time. So, and the max time allotted for these two components is more or less dependent on the support plan opted by the customer. Okay, so now let me raise an issue. So if they come, okay, I just missed one thing. Let me log in again. I missed to show you how we can edit the forms as well. So if we can go to the customer portal, we have created a form called as fault. We have created an issue type called as fault, and we can edit a particular form by simply clicking on edit button, and we can add any number of fields over here. So of them, we require customer email to be on top, and it has to be a mandatory field. So we can click yes onto the required, and then we also need to have description as one of the mandatory field. So now once this is done, we are good to go. And end user, when he logs in, when he just visits our website and tries to raise an issue, so he wants to raise a fault with us. So let's take an example wherein say Bruce Wayne came and he wants to log in issue. So he has to mention his mail ID, which is bruce.wayne@waynesenterprises.com. Now let's say they want a Batman light signal to JIRA link has been broken. So he wants to raise an issue for that. So he needs to mention the summary. And here you can see that something on the right hand side has been popped up. So this is nothing but the knowledge base. So we'll cover in the next section. This is how you can come and see all the troubleshooting and FAQs over here. So we'll see this further. Now he needs to provide the description. So say whenever the Batman light signal comes on, a JIRA ticket will be created. But somehow it's not happening. And he wants this issue to be raised as a critical issue. And for which component he wants to raise an issue, he can select over here. He can create a ticket. So now you can see over here, this is the reference ID of the raised issue. And here's the summary of the details which he has mentioned over here in the ticket. So now let's put ourselves in the shoes of the support engineer. So let me log in as a support guy. So when we log in as a support engineer, we can see the list of issues listed over here. So I mean, these are very less number of tickets because of having a demonstration right now, but in a very general business scenario, there are thousands and lakhs of issues being raised over here in the queue. So it gets very cumbersome and difficult for a particular support engineer to identify on which particular ticket he needs to work on. So their queues comes into rescue. So let's go to the queues. So here we can see that in the fault queue, there's one ticket got generated, which is our ticket, Batman light signal to JIRA link has been broken. And now here you can see that the first response queue and the resolution time SLA, they started. So let's open this particular ticket. So here you can see that this is a fault issue type they have raised, and they have chosen gold support plan with us. This is apart from I mean, whenever an anonymous user comes and visits to our website, they need not have to mention what type of support plan they have chosen. We have a solution. Addteq has built a solution which will automatically identify what kind of support type a particular customer has opted for. So it will automatically detect and place it over here. And now we have with respect to the support plan which they have opted for, they can have respective SLAs applying over here. So let's see when the engineer is ready to support. So he himself, and he needs to first acknowledge the customer. So let's say so he has responded to the customer. So now here you can see on the right hand side, the SLA for the first response time is checked now. So that means this particular SLA has been met. So now if we can say that yes, the customer is debugging and he has identified the fix, and now he wants to resolve the ticket. Now he wants to resolve an issue, stating the fix. So now he can fix the issue. So now here you can see once the issue got resolved, even the resolution time SLA has been met, and it is appearing as checked. So in order to maintain the record of the resolution of such type of problems or issues, we can document the resolution somewhere. And if that happens usually when whenever this is a new kind of problem or the issue which a support engineer has faced. So maybe what they can do is they can document in somewhere, and simply by clicking on over this particular button, create a knowledge base article, they can simply create and document their space in their solution in the linked application. So in our case, we will be linking in our demonstration. We will be linking our JIRA Service Desk with Confluence. So here, as an example, we can simply create a Confluence. We can simply document the resolution in our Confluence page by clicking on over to this button itself. Okay, but what exactly is knowledge base? So let's see that now. So it is possible that various clients, customers intends to raise similar issues. Say, for example, creating a JIRA user. So say there are 4 customers who wants the procedure to create JIRA user, and it is not advisable to handle 4 different tickets for the same problem. So instead, what we can have is if we can give customers the pointers to proceed on the procedure to create JIRA user, the overhead of handling the separate JIRA tickets for separate customers can be eliminated. So this can be achieved by creating a knowledge base for such anticipated requests, which are quite common. So to create a knowledge base, we would require to document pointers to the resolution steps in Confluence. So here, what I have done is I have chosen one of the space wherein I have created a page with all the documentation of creating a JIRA user. So now what I'll do is this currently this Confluence is running on a separate machine than that of my JIRA Service Desk. So this is on a separate server. So now we need to link these 2 servers, or you can say we need to link these 2 applications as such. So in order to linking these 2 applications, we can use the feature called knowledge base, but prior linking the Confluence directly, we need to link the machine or the URL as well. So for that, again, an admin has to go into the add-ons and he has to see the application link. In application link, they can edit. We need to add a URL of the Confluence application with some name, and once that is added, we can simply go to our JIRA Service Desk, and in the knowledge base section, and we can click on link to knowledge base. So it will show me all the linked applications over here. So we have earlier linked Confluence with our JIRA Service Desk. And in Confluence, it will ask me space, which space exactly I need to choose. So for this demonstration purpose, I have opted for JIRA Service Desk FAQs as the space. So once I click on the particular space, I press link button, and it will show me all the pages inside this particular space. So all these pages are now linked with JIRA Service Desk. So now here you can see that now let's take an example wherein we can see this particular usage. So let's see how it works. If we click on okay, if at all I want to raise a service request wherein I need to ask them for the steps to create a JIRA user. So a customer comes in over here, he needs to mention his mail ID. And he needs to mention the summary. So here you can see there is an automatically pop-up of creating a JIRA user. So we can click on this particular link. Okay, sorry for that. So they simply need to raise a request. And once they start typing the summary, they can get that Confluence page or the FAQs or the troubleshooting steps which are mentioned in the Confluence page. So once they click on that particular page, they will get all the steps being mentioned in order to perform that particular step or the task. So this will actually, and many customers like me will refer the knowledge base before raising any ticket. And this is how JSD can be made as a more of self-service desk, and hence it will save the resolution time even for customers as well. So now let's come on to the last part of our demonstration, which is the customization of reports and how many varieties of reports JIRA Service Desk offers. So now let's see. Let's come back to the JIRA Service Desk, and there is an option. There is an option called reports. So usually what happens is a higher management is always interested in the statistical data, such as list of issues resolved in time, or maybe the number of issues which breach their SLAs, and so on. So usually this gives the overall picture on the progress of the JIRA, on the progress of the service desk team. So JIRA Service Desk provides a very live reporting facility, wherein every issue type, whenever gets created, it will update the report itself directly. So it's a very live reporting. The report generation is highly customizable as well in JIRA Service Desk, so as to generate various types of reports. So let's see. These are some of the reports which we have created. So this is one of the report which mentions created versus resolved. So here you can see. Here you can see that the graph shows here that there are 10 tickets came as in till date, and of them only two have been resolved. So as shown in the graph, there are as of 15th Jan, there are 8 tickets currently unresolved, and of them 2 tickets are resolved. Now similarly, we have created 2 customized reports which are time to first response and time to resolution. Now time to first response shows that how many tickets came in and of them, how many of them met the response time SLA, and how many of them have breached the response time SLA. So now, in order to create these kind of reports, we need to create these metrics, and creation of these metrics are very flexible and very simple in JIRA Service Desk. So JIRA Service Desk offers some of the inbuilt metrics, such as tickets created, then tickets resolved, and so on. So for these, we need not write any filter. These filters, JQL filters, are inbuilt by JIRA Service Desk. We have created two of the customized entities, which are first response SLA met. So of them, we have selected a series as tickets created, which are the overall tickets which got created as of now, and we'll be applying a filter on top of that. So we have applied the filters such as project name as Addteq support system, and support time can be anything between silver, gold, and platinum. And the first response time is completed. So again, these features are inbuilt, or the inbox functionality of JIRA Service Desk. So once this is done, we can get the number of tickets which have met the SLA. Similarly, for the breached one, we can simply put the first response time as breached, and it will give us the number of tickets which have breached the first response SLA. The same goes with the time to resolution as well. So here 10 tickets came in, of them 2 met the SLA and 1 breached the SLA. Remaining 7 are currently in progress. So now let's create a report for showing the fault as well. So we have created a fault kind of ticket. So let's create a report which will show all the faults, all the tickets which are of type faults. So I'll add a series called as tickets created, and I'll give it a color as gold. Then I need to label that particular entity. So I'll name it as all the fault tickets created, and I'll filter the tickets with the issue type as fault. I'll add this. Now you can see I have 1 ticket which got created of type fault. I'll add another series, and I'll label it as how many of the fault tickets have been resolved till now. So I'll place a filter saying all the issues of type fault has to come over here, and the resolution is not unresolved. So this means all the tickets which are fixed right now. So here we can see there is 1 ticket came in and 1 ticket that has been resolved. So this is how we can configure the reports, and we can create any number of reports. These are just for demonstration purpose. We can create any number of reports, any type of reports as per the business need. So here we have completed the end-to-end demonstration of JIRA Service Desk.